Sit down and listen while we speak. It's time for us to spill the tea. Tea for you and tea for me. Building a big old family tree. Just us. Tea for two and two for tea. Building a big old family tree. Yeah, yeah. Just us. Yeah. Just us.
Well, we're back. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Just Us, a conversation with Rodney and Qui. I'm Rodney.
I'm Qui.
And so we want to thank you again for joining us. And as we say always, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe, to send it to your friends and your friends' friends, and let somebody else know about the conversation and join the conversation. We're always happy for you to leave a comment, leave a suggestion, leave a topic, and we'll definitely get back to it and speak on it as well. So, Qui, how was your weekend?
I had a nice weekend. As you know, Rodney, this weekend was our 27th anniversary.
27 years.
Wedding anniversary. However, we've been knowing each other 32 years.
So we've been in each other's lives for 32 years.
Yes. So it was really good. We took some time to reconnect and, come back with purpose and just make our marriage stronger. So I appreciate spending that time with you.
So we took time for ourselves. No kiddos.
No kiddos. And we stayed local because
Right.
the past, 3 years, we've been gone out of the country for our anniversaries.
Right.
So that was fun.
So what made it fun? What made it unique? What made it special? What made it besides, me?
Just really not really having an agenda, but just still spending time together.
That's big because I will say you are the agenda queen.
Yes.
Every time we do something, you have an agenda. You have to write it down. You got a time slot for it. You have something for us to do. When we supposed to be there, how we supposed to, dress, all of the above.
Absolutely.
So it was good from my end that we didn't have any plans. Well, some plans, but nothing set in stone.
Yeah. I mean, I think like when you go on vacation, right, you have to have a plan. I mean, you just can't go on vacation, especially like going out the country and without a plan. Now, I do believe in having things to be organic and let things kind of flow as it may. But like for me, I have to lay it all out. Okay, first of all, this is where we're going. This is how many days we're going to stay. This is where we're staying. Day one, this is kind of what it's going to look like. I mean, I have an agenda. And so do we do it? Is it possible that everything gets done on that agenda? Sometimes, no. However, we still have a plan.
You have a checklist. I mean, That's what you do. You have agendas, you have checklists. Me, I'm more of a go with the flow type of guy, not her. So the fact that you was able to go with the flow this weekend was pretty cool, was pretty good, right? So we had a nice dinner on Friday night.
Absolutely.
Then Saturday, we just sort of played it by ear, did some little retail therapy that we both enjoyed. Spending several hours out in the heat, but enjoyed it. Yeah. Enjoyed our time, I would say. And then Saturday took in a production of The Wiz.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
Right. That was good. And dinner. So it was a good evening, good quiet 3 days. But 27 years. So what made you stick around for 27 years?
What made me stick around for 27 years?
Don't cut me too deep now.
I mean, it's the vow I took. Like when we got married, July 18, 1998.
Well, she remembered the date.
Yeah, I know, because I mean, I'm not really good with dates. You the date person. Like you remember.
Do you remember the time?
3:00.
Okay. Well, I was paid.
Oh yeah, 3:00 because
okay.
I was like determined that my wedding was gonna start on time, and I think we were probably like 5 or 10 minutes late, but that wasn't bad, But yeah, you're the date person. You remember, the first day we went out and all that.
Well, I'm better than you at it. That's
yeah,
for sure.
I'm just not. But the vows that I took, I remember walking down that
You remember
aisle,
walking
down the aisle,
oh, okay.
and my daddy was walking me down the aisle, and I was like, "You really about to do this, huh?" Like,
that's what you said to yourself.
to
or
myself.
That's what your dad said to you.
No, that's what I said to myself.
Oh, okay.
But I realized, yeah, I'm about to do this because I really loved you, and I wanted to marry you, and I saw myself being with you, forever.
And you didn't want nobody else to have me.
Pretty much as well. I would say, no, I'm just kidding. But I knew that you were my future, and thank God that He brought us together. And the thing is, when we really look back on our life together as a couple, we had like several opportunities, or I would say opportunities where we could have met even earlier through people who knew our families.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's like,
That's
how did
true.
we never meet
That's true.
before Lamar University?
Well, there's a time and timing for everything.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how that played out. But yes, I mean, for us to stay together for 27 years, that takes, commitment, determination on each other's point. But the most important thing, it takes compromise. I think we both understand that there's no who's wrong, who's right. It's more so, I think it was a realization of what's best for us as a unit. What's best for, and sometimes that means going, the way you want it, going the way that I want it, or neither way. And it was creating a whole new way.
Right.
A whole new path. And so I think we both had to learn that lesson.
Oh, yeah. I mean.
And I think we learned that, that it was good to have a strong village around us.
Yes. I think we've always had a strong village. Always. From our family members to friends of our families, all the way up to today. I mean, it's I cannot imagine not having that village. And they not only are they like a village for our marriage, but just as human beings, as people, as Christians, as our brothers and sisters in Christ. They help us to understand, a little bit, give us more clear thinking when we're not really thinking rational. As many times I've called, a sister, one of my sisters in Christ, and like, hey, I really got to talk. This has been bothering me, blah, 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 blah. And they give me like a whole nother perspective, which make me think, okay, well, you know what, Qui, maybe you were wrong. I need to go back to you and apologize. So
yeah, but
you have to have people in your life that hold you accountable. And you have to be also in the place of receiving it.
I mean, all that sounds good, and that's true, but we had to grow to that point. It wasn't something like let me go and listen to this person and take this well-intended advice. We had to grow to that point.
We did.
And we had to grow in our faith and grow in Christ. So it wasn't as if it started out that way.
That's true.
So, yes, you may have received some of that advice initially. I don't know if you always took it.
Well, I was 24 years old.
So that means you did not always take it. That's what you're trying to say?
Well, my mindset wasn't there.
So
either.
that means, once again, that means you didn't always take it.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, once again, we had to grow in that. So, over these last 27 years, I think you would agree with me that we have been growing, and that
Definitely.
that you should continue to grow in your faith and of course in your union, in your marriage.
Yeah, I mean that's just
So
life.
we don't know it all is what I'm saying.
Absolutely not. Like I'm a wife, I'm a mom. I don't know everything about, raising children. Like I raised 3 sons, but I've made mistakes. I've done things that I have not been the perfect mom. I'm not a perfect wife. I'm not perfect. So I'm going to, have those areas where I need to grow. And so, you have to grow. That's like a daily thing. Like something should be inside of you that makes you brings change or help you to, mature, in your ideas or whatever. Compromise, like you said before, that was a big one for me because, growing up, I mean, we had a big family, but by the time I really came along and started, getting older, my siblings left. So I didn't really have to compromise with anybody. It was just me. And then I come to you and then you're like, not agreeing to what I think is right or what I want you to do. And it was like,
Differences
whoa.
of opinion. Well, I mean, yeah, but that's what any two individuals or come together for anything, right? Whether that's marriage, business, a partnership of some sort or some kind, you're going to have disagreements. Everyone has disagreements. It's the way you address the disagreements, right? And the way you decide to get over or resolve the disagreements. And sometimes we have agreed to just disagree and keep it moving,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what has worked for us sometimes, not all the times, but that's just life, We've, of course, had our ups and our downs, our highs, our lows, our gains, our losses, our celebrations, just like everything else. And through all of that, we've learned each other. We have grown as a couple. We've grown as individuals. And we have done the work to get better.
And that's the important part because you cannot survive 27 years in a marriage without doing the work to get better. If anybody say that they can or they just refuse to do that, then you're going to have a problem.
Right.
Because
you got to communicate.
Yeah.
You got to communicate. You can't shut down, right? Now, initially, right, you may put a wall up. You may shut down. You don't want to discuss it. You don't want to talk about it, whatever the case is. But at some point, it has to come full circle. It has to come back around.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's going to come back up again. Whatever that issue is going to come back up. And so at some point, you got to talk about it. At some point, you just got to be open about it and come to some understanding, some sort of agreement, meet in some sort of middle ground. Yeah.
And each partner must be willing to receive it.
True.
Because one person can't always be the one to, compromise.
Right. Or be the heavy hand.
Right.
Right.
Both partners, both of us have to be accountable. Now, does that mean I'm always gonna agree with you?
No. Well, I wish you would, but no, that's not the case.
No. Because I have my own mind.
Because I don't always agree with you.
Right. I have my own mind. I have my own way of thinking and doing things and my point of view. And so if I don't agree with you, it should never be a situation where my partner is upset because I don't agree. That's just a difference of opinion. And so we just have to come to the point of, okay, well, let's just agree to disagree and we'll move on from there.
Or we'll find another way to resolve it. Another way, somebody's going to give a little somewhere along the way. That's just the facts of life. That's just how it is.
What happens though when your partner just refuse to give in. You know, like
Well, I mean, if it's it depends on what the topic is and what the situation is, right? I think that you can't really say there is a right or wrong answer to that hypothetical. It depends on what the issue is,
right.
right? On some issues, you got to stand firm. But on some issues, there's some leeway for some give and some take there. But on some issues, it's some things might just be black and white, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is and what the topic is and how it affects you, morally and spiritually, and how it affects your, financial situation. I mean, there's a host of different reasons why you got to be firm on let your yay be yay and your no be no. You got to be firm on something.
Yeah. Relationships, especially marriages, are hard. It's hard being married. It has its rewards, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's work.
It's work. And putting in the work is the biggest thing. We both come from families where our parents were married until death.
Right.
Right. And so we saw the example of, did my mom and dad have roses every day? No.
Yeah, no one does.
No. But I saw my parents through it all. They committed to each other, and they were willing to do what they needed to do to have peace and to make their marriage work and to raise their children together.
And that's where your faith comes in for us, right? Because we knew that when we stood up and took our vows, July the 18th, 1998, in a packed, church there, it wasn't just us, family and friends. It was me, you, and God.
Absolutely.
And we took that vow and we took it seriously. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to do it that way. Some people, they don't get married in the church houses. They don't get married, they get married in the living room. You get married in any physical place you want to. But for us, the centerpiece, the foundation had to be the Word of God. It had to be God. That's created our foundation. That's what we turn to in good times and bad times, highs and lows, celebrations, downfalls, wins, all of the above. So it was no magical moment, I would say, for us, as much as it was an understanding of who we were and where we had to go in Christ.
Right. And the thing that helped us, I know, especially like in the beginning, we went through premarital counseling. I don't even remember how long it was, but we went through classes.
I want to say it was for, I know it seemed like at least about a month's worth of class.
Probably. But we went through classes and, lessons and really talked about like what this marriage thing is, because, during that time for me, I know like a lot of my friends were getting married, a lot of my friends. And I had been with you for like a good while, and I'm thinking like, he ain't asked me to marry him yet. Like, what's going on? I'm almost 24 years old.
Ooh, right? You was old.
And so, we really did not understand. At least I can't speak for you. I knew what marriage was, but I didn't really know the work of marriage until after the wedding, when I got in it. And I remember we went to a marriage conference at our church we were in.
I know exactly what conference you're talking about.
And we had just got married. Like, we was still like, the sparkles was still on us from newlyweds, right? So in our world, we were living in, wedding bliss. And we went to this conference, and we got to the point where the couples had to like face each other, like, right, and talk or whatever. And we looking around, and people are crying, men and women, like they are holding hands. Some may not be holding hands, but they were crying. And we looking at each other like, why are they crying? What's going on? We had no clue.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once you've been through some storms, you and some crying for tears of joy, and some crying just because they still in the storm.
Yeah.
And so, I do remember that conference really well, and us not understanding that moment
Right.
at that time. But just like anything else, you don't have a testimony till you have a test.
That is
Until
true.
You've been through some things, and we've had our share for certain, but it's still been a good ride.
It's been a great ride. And, God has blessed us so much throughout our years. I literally see his hands worked throughout our whole marriage. We had families that supported us. We never had family issues as far as like trying to come between us or bring division. They were always supportive.
Strong village.
Strong village, like
Strong
you said.
support team. Strong
And still
village,
today.
absolutely.
And I think that's important. I think, I've never allowed my family to come against you and vice versa.
Right.
You have to stand.
You got to have
for each
boundaries. You got to have boundaries. You got to stand for one another, because you're going to have enough forces coming up against you that you don't know in the world as it is, against marriage, against your love, against your family. And so the last thing you need is that turmoil with family against family and all that sort of dynamic. So we was fortunate and blessed that we did not have that. But you're right. I think you got to have a strong support team. You got to set boundaries within those family dynamics.
Right.
Right. And strong faith. Faith has to be for us. Faith was the foundation, because where do you turn when times get tough?
Right.
And or when the money slows up, or just going through the storms of life, as they say, life be lifing sometimes, right? So where do you turn to? Where do you turn to? And sometimes you can't turn to one another because of the storms, you're not on the same page. You can't turn towards your family and friends because you don't want everybody in your business.
Right.
And you can't turn towards each other's family because what you have to say and be honest and transparent might turn them against you or against your spouse. And so where do you turn?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have God, where do you turn?
You have to be able to turn to God. But that goes back to your relationship as well.
Right.
That goes back to a relationship with Christ. But yeah, there should, and he should always be the one that you turn to. Yeah. Family and friends, they're good, but they don't know everything. Like God lead us and guide us. Right. God will give us that peace. God will correct us. So God will correct me, especially when I go to him and I'm like, Lord, I am upset. Rodney has offended me. I can't call my sister because if I call my sister, she's going to get upset. And, when you put other people in your relationships, that could be a problem. So who else to go? We can only go to God. And so, when I do go to him and I have a problem, God will tell me, he will show me, Qui, first of all, look at yourself. That's the first thing. He's not going to always show me you. He's going to always bring it back to me. Because it could have been something that I said, how I said it. Sometimes I could say things a little rough.
No, really.
I know.
I never, really,
I
I'm
just kind of
shocked.
discovered this.
No.
Yeah. And so he's going to correct my behavior, right? And so, it is important that we take things to God in prayer. And, once we do that, he work it out and then it works out. And I know, like for you and I, we have disagreements, of course. And, sometimes we go silent, right? What's the one thing that brings us back?
The one thing that brings us back. I don't know if it's just one thing.
But there's something that either you or I would say that would be like, okay, and we just kind of like move on.
You want something to eat?
Yes.
I mean, that's everybody. That's universal.
We could just had a big, like, close the door moment, slam door moments, and about 10 minutes later, I'll either come to you talking, you hungry? What you feel like eating?
Yeah, that's typical. But
and you fall for it, and you're like, yeah, I'm hungry. Let's
it's
go
not
eat.
about falling for it. But going back though, that's what works for us, and that's what has gotten us through, as far as making it these 27 years, right? Support team, village, boundaries, our faith, to keep us, pushing through. But at the same time, also, I believe you got to be on the same page with one another as far as what your vision is, right? What your vision is for your future, what your vision is for your family, what your vision is financially. What is your vision? What is the goal that you're both aiming towards, for a better tomorrow, for a brighter future, for your kids, and just so that you can have life and have it more abundantly, right? So I think also that what has kept us also moving forward is that we have managed to be able, oftentimes more than not, be on the same page with the vision, right, and the direction that we would like to go. And sometimes that meant what? Okay, I got to do a self-check of myself so that I can be on the same page with the vision. I got to do some self-improvement for myself, whether that's going back, to school, or some other things, to whatever I have to do for a better, to increase my territory for the family. And so I think every marriage needs that. A vision. You got to have vision as far as where you want to go, your growth, right? You can't stay stagnant, because if you're stagnant, you're not growing.
Right.
If you're stagnant, you're dying. And so, and it doesn't matter what you've done the last 5 or 10 years. That's why it's important as a family, have that extra, yes, 2-parent households, okay, but also, or that side business, or that side venture, or something that's going to be the glue, right? That you guys can come back to on another level.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. You have to have a plan. And the thing I really admire about you is you talk about my plans as far as how I like to structure things when we go on vacation. But you are the planner for our household, as far as, this is what we're going to save as a couple every month. This is what we're going to be doing to help us, move up financially, or just to have a better cushion. You do that a lot. And you also write down like your plans. You come up with your goals for personal goals and just our general household family goals. You write them down. You keep track of them. And when God blesses us, you literally could go back and be like, oh, check. You do that.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that. Of course, you should always have goals, and should always have a plan, and always have vision. I tell the boys that all the time. What's the plan? what's your plan? Not to be nosy, but so that they'll get in the mindset of it's important to have a plan. It's important to have a vision for yourself, for your future, what you're trying to do or what you're trying to achieve, so that when you do find someone that you say, okay, this is the person I want to be with the rest of my life, you're on the same page.
Yeah.
You're equally yoked in that fashion.
Speaking of equally yoked, there are a lot of people who find partners, that they really love and they've come accustomed to and have a lot of stuff in common with. But do you think, which I'm actually asking for them because I know your answer, is it important to be equally yoked in a relationship?
Well, you already know my answer to that. My answer is yes. I think a lot of people fall in love with the idea of falling in love. A lot of people fall in love with the idea of marriage, right? They want the big reception. They want the big wedding. They want the big party. And they put everything and their whole focus into that one day for how many hours it is, or those 2 days, or whatever it is. And they focus all on that, not thinking about what about tomorrow?
Right.
What about the next day? Okay, now that we've had the wedding, how do we live? Now that we've had the wedding, what does the rest of our life look like? And how do we start doing that? And some people just take it as it comes. Well, once again, you got to have a plan. Once again, you gotta have sit down and had conversations about this. Even from the smallest things, we've had conversations before we got married, even about the smallest things, like will we share a bank account?
Yeah.
Who's going to do the outside work outside the house, and who's going to work on the inside the house, and how are we going to divide who washes and who folds? I mean, just little silly stuff. But we talked about all of it. And that's what's important. Some folks, I believe, just fall in love or like the idea of being married or picking out the rings or planning the trips, but they don't have the vision of tomorrow.
Yeah. And
the work and commitment that comes with that.
And that's the problem, because, you definitely find people that, like you say, love the idea of being married. I know for us, when we got married, we had a country wedding. We from a little small towns in Southeast Texas. So we didn't pay a lot of money on our wedding. And I think we had a beautiful wedding. But you have people who go in serious debt for a wedding and
don't make it to pay the end of the debt before they get divorced.
Right. It's like ridiculous. But the wedding is for everybody else.
Right.
Right? So you're basically paying for everybody to come and have a party with you, but the marriage starts
on somebody's dime, but the marriage starts the next day.
Right. Okay. And then you got that big old bill to pay for.
Right. Or somebody's got to pay for
somebody, right? So, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I believe that people, when you think of people being compatible, that's all fun and nice, but my thing is, what God are you serving? Who are we serving?
Somebody has to lead you.
What church are we going to on Sunday morning?
Right.
Wednesday Bible study.
But you can still be going to church on Wednesday, nights, Sunday mornings, at Saturday at the marriage retreats and the conferences, and still not in tune, and still not, the word is not in you, the marriage is not in you, and you just going along to get along.
Yeah.
So if you're not committed to it, if you're not working through it, if this is not really what it's going to come out, as the old folks would say, it'll come out in the wash. It's going to show its fruit, and it's not always pretty. Marriage is not always pretty.
Right. Well, in 27 years that we've been in the game, it has not always been. We found some dirty areas But through it all, we got through it. We were committed to each other. We were determined that there was no way out. God has to come get me or you. But we made a commitment to each other. We are married, and you not sleeping in another room. We're gonna be mad together in that same bed.
You better turn your way.
Go on your side, I'm on my side, and we got the middle. But eventually, we're gonna come back together
to the middle.
To the middle, and so that's I guess what we're trying to say about this whole episode is, it is work. You're gonna have days where I know I've had days. We've had days where we cried. Where we just didn't know. Like, I don't know if I could do this.
Trying to figure it out. But
Right.
the day that you decide that you don't want to work no more, that's the day that you've given up on your marriage.
Right. And that's a hard. Now, there are always different scenarios, right? And we're not talking about if you're in an abusive marriage
No. We're not
stuff
talking
like
about that. We're
That's
not talking
different.
about abuse. We're not talking about whether that's physical abuse
Right.
or
Mental,
mental abuse,
emotional, et cetera.
Yeah, we're not talking about abuse or cheating and adultery and all of those things that could also rip a family apart. We're just talking about plain folks that just decide, I'm done.
I don't want to work on this.
I don't want to work no more.
Right.
And just don't want to put the work in or the time in. Marriage takes time. It takes commitment. It takes work. There are no time offs. There are no vacations. There are no days that you can call in sick or call out sick or whatever the case is. It takes commitment and it takes work. It takes compromise. It takes communication. And you have to be the biggest giver in your marriage.
Yeah. You hear people say all the time, marriage is 50-50. I don't believe that. I believe it's 100%. I got to put my 100.
And I got to put my 100.
You have to put your 100.
Yeah.
So, what are you looking forward to in the next 27, 30, 40, 50 years?
Just to keep waking up to your face and your smile and to continue to wake up with you. It's a good day.
You heard it, and I agree. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to sitting on the porch with you one day, and we just rocking on the porch.
From your mouth to God's ear.
That's
Right?
so corny, right? But I look forward to growing old with you. I do.
Well,
I want to
and
get old with you. That's the goal.
That's the goal for
Yeah.
both of us.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed the topic, the conversation. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've hoped that you've gleaned a little bit more about us and what our thoughts are and what our beliefs are when it comes to marriage and the commitment and the work that it takes to work at it, to grow it, to develop it. Listen, no one has all the answers. No one has it correct. We're all human. We all have our faults. We all have mistakes. But the point is, you have to continue to work and continue to want to work and work with one another. Mm-hmm. As long as you're working, you're growing. All right? So until next time,
Be
blessed.